And welcome back, guys. It's me, your boy Eli.
Hey, it's Daniel over here.
Yeah. So recently, and there's a good reason why I bring Daniel in because, oftentimes when Daniel's here, it means one of two things. It's gonna be either fighting games or video games, really one of the two. But they're basically the same, or anime. And of course, what's the biggest anime news that came out recently? The live action One Piece came out on Netflix, and there's no easy way to say it. It's good.
Yeah,
It's
it's
surprisingly good.
surprisingly good. That it
Yeah.
is like after Death Note, after Cowboy Bebop, One Piece came out. We didn't think it was going to be good, but no, it's surprisingly good.
Yeah, and we will be talking about those other adaptations too. No, don't forget about those sins themselves. And but yeah, no, we will be talking about the live action One Piece. And so I finished watching the show. Daniel is at least on episode 4 or finishing up episode 4.
Yeah, like I'm pretty much almost at the halfway point.
Yeah, almost at the halfway point. But I feel like even though is in the halfway point, we could still essentially talk about the live action One Piece and just how like good it is. And obviously that's not to dismantle like any other works of live action adaptations of a Japanese property. They all have their ups and downs. After all, Daniel will attest 1,000 times over that the live action Speed Racer is good.
No, it is good.
Yeah,
Always will
that's
be.
him being nice. You
It's on
you
Max right
weren't
now.
there
Go watch
though.
it.
Yeah, you were. You guys were not gonna be there where I was when he had to like give me like charts and explanations and research papers as to why the live action Speed Racer was good.
I mean, do you want me to? Like, we can change the whole episode topic, man. I
No,
can
no, no,
bring
no,
those
no,
out
no,
right now if you want.
no, no, no. We only want to scare people away. If they want that, we can. But yeah, so obviously One Piece is one of the more popular animes that are out there right now. It's one of the most longest running. I think it has a world record for the longest running manga, or like the most printed. Like, it's very popular. It's very
Like,
popular. Is what
it's
I'm
the
saying.
best-selling manga of all time, basically.
But what about Demon Slayer? They just caught up now,
Yeah.
and like yeah,
What has it changed?
yeah. I think I heard somewhere that Demon Slayer outsold it, or I highly doubt that because it's One Piece. It's like
I mean,
that's just
I'm learning new
impossible.
things now because, like, apparently there's more pages of JoJo than One Piece right now, as of right
You
now.
know, I'm willing to believe that. I'm willing to believe that because sometimes Oda just likes to do like long pages, like like full spreads, like 2 page splashes and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can totally believe that, especially when we're talking about I'm forgetting the name of the creator of One Piece, not One Piece, JoJo. Um,
Uh, Hirohiko Araki.
yeah, Araki is like he will use as many pages as he damn well pleases to get the point across of his story. Um, but yeah, no, it's one of the longest running. So like it's been around for like a long time since the '90s, like mid '90s, I believe.
Like, I believe so. Yeah. Like, it's been going on for a while, a while now.
Yeah, so like to give
Because
you
I
guys
even
an
remember
idea.
4Kids they were even
But,
dubbing it. That's how long it was.
oh yeah, I remember those. Like just to give you guys an idea, like me and Daniel, when we were like kids, we grew up with the big three, which was Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. And depending on where you stand, who was the best, whatever, we all knew One Piece was probably the better one because like it's Naruto did not outsell shit, and Bleach does not outsell anything.
Yeah. No. Like, yeah. Just e-
And I
even
love them
sold more
all.
than Dragon Ball. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love
I,
3 of them.
I mean, I like Dragon Ball. One Piece. It's just intimidating to me just because of how much material there is to watch and read. But I respect it for what it is, for like with the amount of fans that love it and show the passion for it.
Yeah, same. So look, I've kept up with One Piece for the most part. I haven't been doing that great of a job because like Daniel's not wrong. It is intimidating as hell. I believe it's over 1,000 episodes now in terms
I
of the
believe so.
anime,
Yeah,
and like
and then we get like 8 different
way over a
movies.
thousand, way over 1,000 for manga chapters. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so we're gonna be talking about like One Piece, the live action, and obviously like we're about to get to the point of it, just how well of an adaptation this is, because oftentimes me and Daniel have talked about this numerous times. Back when Kellen was on, we talked about this numerous times. It's just like they a lot of times with these adaptations, they more or less try to get the look first before what the actual uh, what's the meaning behind it. I guess is probably what I'm trying to say. But this show nails what we've been talking about and what we were hoping for when it comes to an adaptation like this. It's like it doesn't have to be a one to one exact thing, because oftentimes I do feel like a lot of fans, anime fans, kind of want it to be a one to one thing because we're so used to that from anime. I don't know if I'm speaking to making any sense really. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I mean, they. I would say they do want it to be shown like you know, it does. The fans do want have the favorite series, shown properly and as faithfully to the source material as possible. But even that's not even the case, even like in normal anime stuff, because like for example, like there'll be some changes in anime that you'll see often. Like for example, I can't think of One Piece, like I haven't seen it, but I don't know, Spice Wolf, for example.
Mm-hmm.
One of the side characters was actually male in the light novel or manga, but if you actually watch the anime, yeah, he's completely replaced with a different character, Chloe, altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And I could go on and on, but basically the point is that even in anime, like it's not shown completely one to one to the source material itself, but there's some changes at times.
Yeah, and as someone who has watched a good amount of One Piece, I can tell you right now, they change a lot. And it's not changes that greatly affect the story. So, in one of the things, and we've seen this from the casting a while back, the introduction of Garp, who is Luffy's grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
and he's introduced way earlier than what he's supposed to be. In reality, this happened when we were introduced to Luffy's grandfather. This is way further down in the story, right? Like this is where he already has um the crew he we all come to know and see from like any promotional posters or anything. Like we all know, like when he has like Robin, Chopper, Frankie, all those guys, when they're around, they're like, oh, we are finally introduced to his grandfather and the fact that he's related to the Marines and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the show, we're introduced to him like first episode, and like, and it took me for a loop because I was like, I did not realize that was Garp, and like Daniel's like, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
like no, I know who you mean. It's just that I haven't read the anime or the manga, so I didn't know like this happened out earlier than before.
Oh no, yeah, it, but that, but like to a point across, and what the story is trying to tell, there's a reason for it, and it makes sense. And there's a lot of stuff like that where they change some stuff up for the live action. And I talked about this with other people, and we kind of came up with the consensus of it's essentially One Piece, but with hindsight. And what I mean by
Yeah,
that is like stuff that was introduced later on that feels like it could have been like out of nowhere is now more integrated in, like it's more introduced better now, like from the beginning, right? I won't say better
yeah,
now,
yeah.
but like I guess if I were to make this an example, let's go with an anime that me and Daniel both know, JoJo, right? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Mm.
Like, imagine by part two, if they were to do a live action, if they ever do a live action JoJo, which I highly doubt they ever will. Please don't.
It happened actually.
I know. But imagine like at part two, they started introducing the idea of stands uh, in a more natural, rather than like a out of nowhere kind of thing that happened like in part three.
Okay, I get you then. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Like, sorry, you were going to finish something.
No, no, no. I was gonna let you go.
Oh no, no, yeah, like that'd be an interesting thing to see because, yeah, because it makes you wonder because Stan's, as we just said before, it doesn't get introduced to part three. So, what was the world of JoJo like before when it was just Hamon? Like, there has to be like a Stan user out there, like out of nowhere, right?
Hmm. Like there's like we know how they get stand powers because of like I think that was introduced in part. Was that introduced in part four?
Let's see, Stan powers? No, like that was also in three. Like we
Yeah, but
saw
like
Muhammad
how did
Abdul.
Jotaro how did Jotaro like we know he know because like everyone like the through the arrow and shit. But like did they ever they never really said like hey that's how you got your powers Jotaro Joseph. You
It's a
don't
little
get what I'm
weird
saying?
because because Dio when he stole Jonathan's body, Enyaba, uses the arrow on Dio, and that causes like a chain
Mhm.
reaction within the family. So like Holly gets it, Joseph gets it, and then Jotaro gets it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Then,
also
then imagine that
Scroll.
happening like imagine that like happening like in part two kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of how it. That's kind of how the live action One Piece is because they show off characters who we don't see until way later or like introduced firm like foremost into it, and then like there's abilities that weren't introduced still again like way later, but like it's done more like naturally here, and it makes sense too because from what a lot of reports have said, Oda, the creator of One Piece, Ichiro Oda, is was heavily involved, which is something like you don't tend to hear a lot, even in like anime.
yeah, that's true. There's some instances of that happening, but at the same time, you don't really hear that a lot. For example, Dragon Ball Evolution. Uh, I don't think the creator of Dragon Ball, Akira, I don't think he had any input in that at all.
No, no, no. I remember him saying specifically like treat it like it's a new thing. It's like it's not meant to be like an adaptation. And then he saw it and he was like, yeah, I can't let it die like this.
No, and that's how we got Dragon Ball Super.
That's how we got Dragon Ball. That's how we got the Battle of the Gods. Yeah, and like I think it's a great thing that Daniel you yourself have not seen One Piece, but
Yeah, no.
from let
Like
me
I
ask
heard
you this.
stories about, oh, like I heard a little bits of stories about like Nami and Arlong, basically like the very early stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm not familiar with what's going on right now, like I know fans are going crazy for Gear 5, Luffy. Like
Damn near broke the
I'm
internet.
completely lost on what's going on right now. I just know like basically up to around like Arlong and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, but like, to my point is like, even if you who has never seen One Piece or knows very little of One Piece, how? And this is what I'm trying to. This is what I'm asking, right? How did you feel watching this? Did you feel like you didn't need to watch the anime or read the manga to understand what's going on?
Like no, I'll definitely not. Again, like it's just a retelling of the story, like from the beginning. So I'm getting all the information I need to know. Like Luffy, like he grown up and raised by Shanks. Um, we're seeing like Nami being a thief, and then Zoro being like a wanted, like a I forgot what was he wanted for, but basically like he wants to be the best swordsman. We get to see him like do wield three katanas at once, that kind of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
like they're doing all the characters like pretty faithfully as well. Like I forgot what's the kid's name. Like he had pink hair, but he was in the Marines
Oh,
as well right
Kobe.
now. Yeah, Kobe. Yeah, like we see like why he hates pirates and why he joined the Marines. I I totally like get the story what's going on right now. And I'm totally
Yeah,
like enjoying. It.
and it's even funnier. And this is what I'm saying. Like they're doing changes to it that make not only make sense, but also like help get people more into the story. Because Kobe doesn't like he's barely in One Piece. Well, I don't mean barely. I mean like he'll show up every once in a while, and it's the joke is like because like, every time like Kobe in the manga, he's like very like weak and scrawny kind of looking dude, kind of like he is in the show. And but then like as whenever we're reintroduced to him, he gets like slightly more handsomer and more masculine, it's like, okay, this what happened here? And like here they're like setting up the fact that like no, he's gonna become that Kobe. We're using him as like our second point of view character for a lot of the story, and
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with that because Kobe, I liked Kobe in the anime. I always liked seeing him coming back, more handsomer than ever. And now it's like, okay, now we're watching all that happen, right? We're seeing him become that character, right? That we
Yeah.
don't really see often because oftentimes whenever you see Kobe, whether it's when it's not like him being part of the story, he's like in the covers of One Piece that give you like little hints of like, hey, Kobe's over there doing this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool to see? Like, yeah, that would be cool. Can I see that? Nope. We're gonna stick with the Straw Hat crew. Oh, okay, that's fine. I like them too. Yeah, but so like you get a lot of that. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the things that we gotta talk about is the casting because the casting is one very diverse and two really well done. Like they all like capture the character while not being 100% on it. They all capture the characters of what they're who they're playing off. The actor playing Usopp loved it, love him. He's doing a great job as Usopp.
No, yeah, like uh can't say like how Usopp really was in anime, but no, like he's doing a good job in the show. Like I like him a lot right now. Like in the show, want to see more of that going on.
Yeah, because in the show and in the manga, he's very much like I am telling tall tales. I'm a wolf who he's cry boy who cries wolf kind of stuff, and that's kind of what you need to know about him. And he's also kind of like a wimp, but he'll have his moments of being like very courageous and strong, and like yeah, that's it. You guys got it. You guys understand of like how you're doing this character, and it's just very great to see.
Hmm. Yeah.
And like you haven't gone to him, Daniel. The actor playing Sanji is probably one of my favorite ones in the show.
No, like I'm looking forward to it because like so far like every character that I'm seeing they look faithfully represented in the show,
Hmm.
and you could really see that they were taking inputs and like talking to the creator about how to present One Piece in live action form. Because
Hmm.
I remember like there was like a fan question saying like if One Piece took place in the real world, where would it come from? And then the creator answered like Luffy would be from Brazil, Nami from Sweden, Zoro obviously from Japan, Sanji from France, and then Usopp from Africa. I don't know what country. He didn't give a country specific. He just said Africa.
He did like yeah, I can picture him being played by someone of darker complexion, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's they no, they all do fantastic work, especially because I was a little like hesitant on him, but after watching him, I was like, no, I'm totally down. The actor playing Luffy,
Oh yeah, like he does a good job. He really does.
yeah, because Luffy in the other works is very like over the top kind of cartoony, which that's One Piece, right? And
Yeah.
like very cheerful. And here, it's a little toned down, but that makes sense because he's not, meant to be too overly cartoony, but he's meant to like be a little more like while still being like this sort of positive, cheerful person. Uh,
Hmm.
he's like, oh, I lost myself. But essentially, like they nail it down, but without being too coming on too strong, I would say.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
like
like
it's
definitely like
like
everything I see with him, he's like in a every scene I see with him, he's in like a happy mood, but it's not like overly joyous or like cheerful or anything like that, where like it gets annoying.
mhm.
Like you definitely get a sense from him,
And
like
that's what
he's
I'm saying.
supposed to be
Like
looking for
Luffy
the love.
himself is annoying, but yeah, no, because like if it's one of those things where, and we'll talk more about this later on. It's like how they did Ed. Wait, did you ever finish Cowboy Bebop, the live action version?
No, I haven't. I stopped after I found out they weren't getting renewed.
Fair enough, dude. Fair. But like and so do you know? But you know Ed from Cowboy Bebop, right?
No, like that was like the biggest thing. As soon, I don't know if it was weekly or all the episodes drop at the same time, but that was the clip I saw everywhere online. Where like, yeah, like it had like kids WB energy to it. I'm not kidding. I saw like someone took a screenshot of that scene with Ed and had the logo on there. It's like it
Oh yeah, when
fits
they added the
right there.
watercolor of Kids WB. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. I was as someone who saw that scene, I'm like, yeah, no, that's yeah, that's about right. It's like that level of cartoony.
yeah.
Um,
And I remember that was my big concern too with Cowboy Bebop. Was like if they're gonna bring in Ed, like how are they gonna have her be portrayed because she is very loud and she can get annoying sometimes in the anime.
yeah, and they did that by basically doing that, but
Yeah.
making it. But and see, that's kind of thing. Like when with Ed in the anime, while they keep bouncing off on whether what gender they are. Uh, but like it you believe you it doesn't bother you that they're over the top and like cartoony because it's still kind of an anime, right? You kind of still
Hmm.
accept that. I mean, there's that scene of Ainz doing the little jump when he gets high.
Yeah.
So it's like that. Here it's like okay, it's a little more realistic. No one would be doing that, and if they are, it's not that crazy. But now it's like someone trying to be like Ed, trying like I think the joke was like, man, that's like every high school kid cosplaying in the anime club.
Oh god, yeah.
I
Yeah.
just saw Daniel like take a pause for a second, having all those PTSD flashbacks from that era of his life.
No, yeah, like the moment I saw those kids, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just keep it to myself, not get myself associated with that.
Yeah, let's all be nice and social. So it came like that, but like thankfully with like Luffy, who is also very overly cartoony and kind of very jovial, they just kept him more the jovial and kind of toned down the cartoonishness and just made him be
Hmm.
very like, no, I just want to follow my dreams. That's all I want. I want to be king of the pirates, mother. That's what I want to be, and nothing's gonna stop me. Not even you, Grandpa. So like, yeah, it's just like that. Um, while speaking of changes, right? One of the things I remember seeing online about and those of you who know, Daniel, I know you don't watch One Piece, so this probably won't adhere to you. But there's a moment and that I felt like, yeah, that makes sense of a change because that's more appropriate for someone of that culture, but also it's like it makes sense in anime form. It's when Sanji says goodbye to his mentor. He does the I think it's called Dokenba, where he bows his head all the way to the ground as a form of thank you. And while like that is very like um, well done in both the anime and the manga, they don't do that in the live action. One because it's very much like uh, Sanji himself is not a Japanese person, but also the fact that like it would feel very weird for him to do, right? Like it just him like, just bowing his head all the way down. Not saying it's wrong for him to do that, but it's like for the context that we have, it would have been a little awkward. But and this is what I'm getting at with like the One Piece like live action. While they change certain aspects of it, they they get they still get the point across. This was someone that Sanji very much looked up to, who had a very important impact in his life, and he's saying goodbye to like a would be father, someone who he's like, incredibly thankful for, and like they like without like not being an exact one to one to the anime, it's done so well because at the end of because you still get that point across. It's like damn, this is a very emotional moment, and you believe it, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I'm getting at with the live action One Piece is that even though it's a lot of changes or minuscule, however you feel about it, they still get the point across. which is what you want in adaptation, right? Like I've been using this
Yeah.
example um, in Homecoming, right? Spider-Man Homecoming. The moment where
Hmm.
Peter like lifts up all the rubble, that's a scene from like the comics. Yes, different context, but you get the point across. This is what makes him Spider-Man. This is why everyone likes him. He's got like a, I can't give up. I can never give up.
Yeah.
If I do, bad things happen. And like it's that's kind of what we want in an adaptation. It could be one to one. That's great. That's fine. But there's something that works in that medium and there's something that works in that other medium. And at the end of the day, it's more about, hey, can you get the point across, right?
Yeah.
If I'm, and I don't know how I don't know if you feel the same way, Daniel, but like that's kind of how I viewed it.
I mean, yeah, like I could totally see it work. And like another example, using Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, like the famous scene where Spider-Man no more. You see the Peter like throwing his
Yes,
costume in the trash.
yes, I agree.
Yeah, the comics, like the story is completely different to what's going on in the movie, but it's such a good scene from the comic that made it so famous that they used it again in the movie that it worked really well.
Hmm. Like you get the point across, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I like a lot of good adaptations, and that's kind of where I'm gonna go with our discussion about like well, but the other like Netflix shows and soon to be Netflix shows because remember they're still doing a Yu Yu Hakusho live action.
Wait, what? What was this?
Oh, you know, dude. Okay, so they already got. I think they already confirmed the casting for some of them. But yeah, they're doing a Yu Yu Hakusho live action.
Well, after seeing One Piece, I hope it ends up good.
Yeah. Okay, but so like obviously we talked about Death Note. We talked about Cowboy Bebop, and this is will be a eventually movie project. Um, but yeah, so obviously, Dan, for you, uh, I don't know. Have you seen Death Note,
Unfortunately,
the live action one?
like I have seen the anime and also the live action one, and the only good thing I'll say about the live action one was Willem Dafoe as Ryuk is spot on, perfect casting.
Oh no, I agree. But like so let me ask you this: when it comes to that specific adaptation, what did you feel that they get wrong with
I I would definitely say L. Not L. What am I thinking? Light
light?
Turner.
Oh fuck, I hate
Like
that name so bad.
he is a completely different character in the show. Like
Mm,
he's presented more like a chauvinist kind of guy that likes to party and everything like that. And I was like, that's not really who he is. And they changed his
mm,
character a lot. And I don't even remember if the girl that he was with was supposed to be Misa or not,
yeah,
or was it? But
I don't
yeah,
remember.
like the personality was completely off. And when you watch or read the source material, you could tell like he has a cool demeanor. He doesn't really like anything bother him, and he always feels like he's in control. And then when you watch the movie, you see him freaking out in the chemistry lab over seeing Ryuk for the first time.
Hmm. And
And
so I guess
like,
no, go for it.
like no, like I was just gonna go into that. Like yeah, like his personality is wrong. He's basically that's it. Yeah, like he's completely different all around, personality
Hmm.
wise, the way he acts, everything else like that.
Now let me ask you this: if they decided to do something like tell an original story based off of Death Note, do you think that would have worked?
I could see it. I mean, we've seen side stories before, and even recently, like a few years back, when some random kid finds a Death Note and sells it, and Trump buys it.
I remember that. That was weird.
That
I
was a
remember that
bizarre
was
like moment in history.
that was very weird. Um,
No, but yeah, like it definitely could work. I
yeah,
mean, we
because
probably wouldn't even
I
see
always
that story.
no go for it.
no, like, no, yeah, I was saying like, yeah, we have side stories like that, and I don't think if it's ever been explained into to the background behind it, but we, I don't, uh, I definitely would have liked to see the story behind Misa, like, how she acquired her own Death Note, and then why
Yeah.
she met up with the god of death and everything.
Because like I always think of like if the Death Note live action movie just didn't have characters be named the same and like was kind of its own original story that was based off of um, Death Note, right? In the same vein as like all you need is kill was adapted to was it a Edge of Tomorrow? No, what was that Tom
Wait,
Cruise
which one?
movie? The
No,
Tom
yeah,
Cruise
that was
movie?
Edge of Tomorrow.
I keep thinking that's the wrong name because they have so many different names. That's why.
No, that's the American name for the movie, but in Japan, I think they still use the actual source material
Well,
name. I
yeah,
can't
all you need
remember
is
what was
kill.
it called. Yeah.
Yeah, and like because like that's not a one to one thing. That's more of like you know them taking like the idea of that story and kind of doing something new and different. Well, from my understanding, okay, for people who read that manga, I have not. Um, Still taking like the core idea, like what the story was about, right?
Hmm.
So I think that that's kind of like where my get what I was getting at is that there's you either like use it as a way to tell a different story or to like a new story, while still adhering to like the themes and like what was the story, what's it about, um, or like what One Piece is doing, where it's like we're not doing a 100% like straight from the page to the screen thing, but we're trying to get essentially the same point across. Because like that's the thing about Death Note, right? It
Yeah.
Nothing about it felt like Death Note, right?
Yeah.
Granted, if you
Even
change the names, go ahead.
like, yeah, like as you were saying, like you. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's still about a high school kid. He finds a death note and kills people, but it's it still feels off a bit. Again, like we have like Light being completely different character. Same with I forgot what was his name. Who was the weird detective again? What was his name?
Oh no, that was L.
Okay, okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, L. He's completely different in this one too. He has an
Mm-hmm.
aide with him, which okay, that's an interesting idea. And then suddenly, like, he starts freaking out when he's on his own and everything, and starts panicking. And it's like, no, I don't think I would be like that at all.
No, and like I said, if it wasn't L, I'm like, okay, maybe I can buy it, right? But
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it's supposed to be L, but it's not what L is. Because like the cool thing that was about Death Note, one of the cool things about it was like this sort of mind games that Light and L were doing with each other.
Exactly. Like they were doing 40 chess, but like right off the bat, the audience the already knows like okay he's gonna try to have me caught and arrested, and then L's like okay I
Mm-hmm.
know it's him I just gotta catch him in the act, and that's not really what it is because at that point then what's stopping L?
Exactly. Now, if they made it more about like a kid who finds the Death Note and what kind of like that means for someone like to have that kind of power, I think that would still work in the idea of like Death Note, right? Because that's kind of
Hmm.
also what happens is that Light gets the Death Note and he starts getting a god complex.
Yeah.
He's like, I decide who dies. I'm like God, but I actually, do, I'm willing to kill people who, don't, who should die, kind of stuff. And they could have really went home with that if they didn't want to do like the psychological mind games and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I don't know. It's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing about it that feels generally like this was made like, and this is inspired by that kind of story, that kind of storytelling beats however you feel. And
Yeah.
like, especially when it came with like the Cowboy Bebop at live action,
Yeah,
because
like we talked on this before too. Like we there was like some interesting ideas that we thought it could work if it tried to do its own thing. Like again, like Jet, he's divorced. He has a kid. He wants to like try to take care of and be there for and everything. um, that kind of stuff. But it just doesn't land that well.
No, and oftentimes it tries to like be too similar to the anime. Like I think we talked about this. Like that first episode was just like almost a shot to shot, except for like a couple of things,
Yeah, like
right?
which I
And
don't
it
want
was,
to say it's a bad thing because sometimes it's fine, just to retell the same story, like again with One Piece. Because if that was the case, we would be criticizing it for for not following it or like being too close to it. But no, but I think it's perfectly fine. After thinking about it now, it's fine to try to recreate some stories, but if you're going to try to go your own way, try to do it a little bit more differently than expected. But yeah, like the first one, it was like shot for shot. It kind
yeah,
of like Psycho. Like I don't know if you've seen the original and the one with the remake with Vince Vaughn. It was literally just the same movie, just with different actors.
yeah, and it just the yeah, I remember hearing that, and from my understanding, it wasn't entirely terrible, but it's more of like the acting just wasn't there, the nuance of it, and the fact that it was like
Hmm.
a one to one kind of took away from the surprise, right?
Yeah, which which again,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to argue because you do want it to be faithful, but at the same time, you kind of want to see its own spin on it.
Yeah, but and I kind of that's what I'm saying with like the One Piece, right? Show
Yeah.
is that there, well, it's not 100% a shot to shot. It still
Hmm.
gets the point across,
No,
right?
definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's kind of like the thing where like with uh with Cowboy Bebop, it's like how, they made it like one to one, but like it always felt like there was something missing, right?
That and if I remember correctly, I think the episodes were like an hour long too, right? So they pretty much just took the first episode and they just stretch it out to meet that 1 hour mark.
Yeah, that was also true because like one live action One Piece was more of okay, we're taking like these chapters, you know, cut a bit here and there, make it into a 1 hour episode.
Yeah.
Because like I swear, like that first episode was at least maybe like 5 chapters of the manga.
No, like I definitely felt like he did cover like an arc each episode.
Yeah, no, it's especially like later on. Like at least like if and if it was long enough, they made it into like 2 episodes. Kind of like with
Yeah.
what you'll see with Arlong, because I swear that was more than just like an hour. I was like that was more like at least 5, maybe 6 episodes, or even more. I don't remember. It's been a while,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, and like obviously like this is kind of like what we're saying, like whenever you're adapting something to live action, like you need to understand the limitations you might be able to have, but at the end of the day, you need to get what the point across, what the story's about, right?
Yeah.
Because like I made the joke earlier, but like you can tell me how and why the Speed Racer movie was a really good adaptation of the anime, right?
Do you want me to bring out the board?
No, no, don't bring out the board. Give me the Clip Notes version.
So yeah, like the characters, they're done faithfully. Racer X again, he's done as a mystery. I mean, it's pretty obvious who it is. If you don't know, if you don't know for some reason, it's Speed Racer's brother that everyone thought he died. Um, it has the same campiness feel to it as well. Like you have all the racers, in it, to fight each other, kill each other over a race just to win money and all that kind of stuff. And then, again, you have the action with the cars as well. I mean, I think the only thing was missing was basically like I don't know, the windshield that covers like the driver's seat and everything, so that way he could drive underwater, and like maybe the little sparrow that spits out and does phalanx. But no, like it does everything right. Like it does like the car action right. Even like the fight scenes was awesome. Even like John Goodman as Speed Racer's dad did a great job because they remember like he was a Greco-Roman wrestler, so we actually got to see him like wrestle a bunch of ninjas and everything like that. It was awesome.
Yeah, but no, see, that's what I'm saying. Like even
Yeah,
if it's like
like
not a one to one,
no, yeah,
it's
like
it's
obviously you watch the anime and then you watch the movie. big difference. It's like it's more grounded in reality, surprisingly, in the anime. And then when you watch the movie, it's over the top, and it
Because
looks
there's
very
no other
colorful
way you
with
could
racing
do it.
action. Yeah, like it looks over the top. Like even the racetracks are crazy. It looks like a Mario Kart racetrack basically, and you're seeing like loop de loops going like around stuff like that. It looks very fantastical and whimsical. And again, very colorful because like the race and with the action, the crashes and stuff like that. It is a colorful like a fun watch.
Yeah, the other thing they were missing was the ah
Oh yeah, like the infamous oh
whenever they were dubbing it.
that and like the
Like,
fast talking, like the fast talking that we're talking about right now, like because we were talking about One Piece, the animated manga that just got the live action adaptation right now on Netflix, the American company that's make streaming that kind of talk basically.
breathe, Daniel, breathe.
God,
God
I
damn.
forgot like how fast they talk.
Yeah, you practice that way too well. But yeah, no, that's kind of like what we're saying with like at the end of the day with the live action One Piece is that they really like nailed one why people like One Piece. It's this big grand adventure that can often be dark, but like it tends to be like a very like fun show, right? And like
Mhm.
while they change here stuff here and there, they they hit the nail on the coffin, dude. They got it. Like
No, yeah,
they
definitely.
understood the task and they exceeded. Like, and I'll say this as someone who's watched One Piece and like has read One Piece, watching this, and this isn't negative. This is gonna sound like a negative, right, to some people, but for me, I definitely want to go back and watch the anime. It hit that itch, you know. Like it's like, oh man, that makes me want to like go back and like check it out. Not only
Yeah.
just to see what stuff they changed because they did change a lot of stuff. I remember specifically some changes and like rearranging of some certain things, but also like I said, it still gets the point across. Like one of my favorite moments from the live action was this the fight between Mihawk and Zoro, right?
Yeah.
Because that was one of my favorite moments from watching the anime. Because it's one of those moments where like Zoro is like, I'm ride and die for Luffy and this crew, and while it's the order is different and like the situation is different, again, and I am emphasizing this, it gets the point where like this is the moment where Zoro is like fully committed to being part of the crew, and they got it down right. Same thing with the Sanji stuff. Same thing with the Usopp stuff. Same with the Nami stuff. They got it down right. They understood the task and understood like why people like this moment, why this moment is important for that character.
Pretty much, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
can't say
Now
for
let's
much
hope that.
again. Like
Go ahead.
can't say for much again. Like I haven't seen the actual series itself, but I do like the characters, and I can't wait to see more of it and see how it goes. I forgot what was the dude's name. What was his name? That was supposed to play
I
Zoro.
Mihawk.
Yeah, Mihawk. Uh, I
Yeah.
keep hearing everybody like that's a really hype fight, so I can't wait to like actually see it myself when I get to that point. Because so far, like
Oh,
probably
dude,
my
it's really
favorite part in
good.
the show
Like
was
it's
uh,
like I'll say this:
no, you want
if
to go?
you had no context in One Piece and you just watch that clip, yeah, if you just watch that, you can be like, it's kind of goofy, but like after like everything you led to, and when you get to that point, it's like, yeah, no, that was a good fight.
Oh yeah, because like the fight scenes are very
Oh
well
man, like,
choreographed too. So, like I remember the fight with Buggy,
oh
like that
yeah,
was a really like I know a little bit of it. Like yeah, he can, you know, uh, I don't know how to explain his powers, but basically kind of like that one dude from Metal Gear Rising that can like basically pop his body parts all around and go crazy. Like they did a really good job with it.
yeah,
Looked
yeah,
really cool, and yeah, it had me wondering. It's like okay, so he can do this, and it's hard to kill. So how they're going to be able to stop him? So like seeing that kind of like action and
yeah,
stuff, like it was really fun to watch.
and that's
Yeah,
I find it funny how they that not only in the anime and the manga they recreated the scene where it's just his hands and his feet. They did it in a live action too.
No, I did. I saw that online too. Like, they did comparison with some scenes, and they showed like Buggy like that. Like,
Yeah,
basically, it's just
and I'm just like,
has his
yes, they did
frozen
it.
hands all to his head.
Oh yeah, and I guess oh yeah, if anyone's watching, let's just all hope that they all come out like this. Not saying that they all will be trash, because like I did hear everyone saying like One Piece broke the curse. I'm like, kind of like not saying that the curse is broken, but it's like there isn't really that much of a curse,
I mean, it was already broken by
because
Speed
like it's
Racer.
every once in a while they actually do a good adaptation.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, Daniel,
people.
we know.
Aside from Speed Racer, I feel like people keep forgetting because I remember hearing people saying they actually were surprisingly surprised at how much they enjoyed Alita Battle Angel as well.
That's true. Everyone forgot about Alita Battle Angel, and it's like
Yeah,
I
and
said,
then
it's not impossible. It's just like once again, you got to understand why we. Mm,
yeah,
yeah,
I was just gonna bring in Edge tomorrow
just
because like I
nail it,
didn't
Dan.
even knew it was
Nail it.
based off a manga until like I looked into it. It's like really I had no idea.
The Korean version of Old Boy too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wait, Old
You
Boy
remember
was Korean? I
that?
thought it was Japanese.
And like, oh no, it was Japanese, but the first movie that they made was from Korea.
Okay, so originally it was a Korean movie that was later remade as a Japanese movie that was later remade as a American remake.
No, 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 other way, other way, other way, other way. Japanese
Okay.
manga that got adapted into a Korean movie.
Oh,
There you
okay,
go.
I get it now. Yeah.
And some of this, yeah, and some of the other stuff that Japan's come out with too. So it's like there's not really much of a curse. It's more of like, can they freaking nail it, right? Can they do a good job of adapting?
Yeah, like I
And we'll
think I
wait to wait
remember
and see. Because like
Gintama.
again, they're still making other stuff.
No, yeah, like never like even before our Death Note movie we got here in America, they had like two different Death Note movies in Japan. And then let's
Yeah, and I
see,
keep
there was like a
hearing mixed things.
like I don't know the actual consensus between for those two movies, but I'm just aware that there is two Death Note movies in Japan. And then again, they have like a bunch of other adaptations that some people might not be aware of. That's also on Netflix, like Full Metal Alchemist. And let's see
Yeah,
what
but we
else.
don't talk
I
about that
also
one.
uh, okay, noted. And then JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 4. It I was quite nervous about watching it, but I enjoyed for what I watched. Lots of things changed. For example, Red Hot Chili Pepper is not in the movie.
Didn't they take away the fact that Kira? Because I heard they made not Kira, not like Kira, Kira from Death Note, but Yoshikage Kira. Um, like he became more a central like villain in that. Like he was behind everything, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like Kira.
No, no, no. Like the villain, the way they portrayed Kira in Part 4 is very different. Because if you watch the anime, you know he's like a recluse, he's solitude. He does not want to bring attention to him whatsoever. Even forcing himself to get like third place or second place trophies in competitions he might participate in, just so he doesn't draw attention to him. Uh, but in the movie, they made
Mm-hmm.
him out to be like kind of like the headmaster of all of whatever's going on because he's the one with the arrow. He's the one shooting people with the arrow to give them the stance, powers, and abilities and stuff like that. So it's a weird take because
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you have because originally it was I forgot that guitarist's name, but with his stand, Red Hot Chili Pepper, it was the one going around, shooting people with the arrow randomly, giving them powers and stuff like that. So it was an interesting change, but I still like found myself enjoying the movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we did not get anything else after that, but I would have loved to see like how they would continue to go with this
No.
uh, storytelling from there.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And who knows how the rest will come out. Um, I mean, again, they're making a Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't know if it's a TV show or a movie. I don't know. I
Like
don't know how
I
you
feel
can
like
do that.
they'd do it as a TV show.
And I still haven't. a TV show makes more sense. A lot of
Like,
times these make more sense as TV shows because there's a lot of stuff in there.
yeah. No, the question is, are they going to keep the voices though? Like, you take a hot shit, Urameshi.
Oh yeah,
That was a bad impression, but you
yeah.
get the point.
Jeez, I don't think. Yeah, but it's close enough. It's close enough to Chris Abbott. Oh man. And then like for me, like there's still conversations about that Gundam movie. Yeah, I have no idea what's it about, and I'm very concerned every day when I think about it.
Because
Very
because
concerned.
while I'm not big into, I'm starting to get myself into watching Gundam. I'm aware like pretty much every series is basically its own story, so we don't know if it's going to be following a story or be its own
It,
original story.
yeah, you either got the one continuous one and the ones that are just all by themselves. But
Yeah,
anyways, I think that's a good place to end it. Like again, the One Piece live action, it's pretty good, guys. Go check it out. As
no,
someone who's
definitely
watched
go
One
watch
Piece,
it.
I
Like,
really enjoyed it. As someone who hasn't watched One Piece, yeah.
I enjoyed it myself. Yeah,
Daniel says like he's never watched it. Yeah. I am a little shocked about finding out that, but it worked out because he likes it.
no, yeah, like I told you, dude. It's like, bro, it's surprisingly good. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, because you were the one that told me like Eli, you need to watch it. I'm like I don't know, and then everyone else is like good, good, good. I'm like all right, I'll bite the bullet. And I came back at that first. I was like ah shit, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah,
But anyways, guys, that's our thoughts on the live action One Piece. If you enjoy what you heard, be sure to follow us on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're most active on Instagram, and be sure to follow us on there. You'll find a link to all the podcasts sites we're officially part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all the like. You also find a link to our YouTube channel where you can like, comment, subscribe, all the like, and link to a way to support us. And yeah, it's one well, the curse there isn't really much of a curse, but for those of you who've only seen bad live action animes, the curse has been broken.
now the real question left is, when are we
That's
getting the
it.
Jump Force movie? Like, we
Well, we
already
don't
got
know
a Dragon
yet.
Ball movie. We
We
got a
just know
Fist of
that
the North
Ghost
Star
in
movie. Like, I'm pretty sure that
all
actor
we
might have
need
been
is that
too old to
Naruto
act.
one because we did have a Bleach one. Oh
Wait,
god.
was there a Bleach one?
Oh man. There was a Bleach one. I remember that. I don't know how to feel
Well,
about that
hopefully
one
that ended up well.
because I haven't seen it. But anyways, guys, it's been hopefully. But anyway, guys, it's been me, your boy Eli,
Yeah, it's been Daniel.
and you guys
Okay.
have a good one. Peace.